Proper warm-up is absolutely crucial, but we don't want to be spending 30 minutes of our time doing a bunch of weird-ass exercises that's not even going to help. So in this video, I'm going to give you a very simple 3-step warm-up routine that's not going to take a lot of time, and I know it works because I've been using it for years. So getting straight into it, step number 1 is what I call the individual muscles warm-up. So this is basically just where you're going to warm up all the individual muscles that you're going to train on your first exercise and on that day in general. So let's say you're doing a chest and tricep day. You're going to start off on the bench press. You're going to warm up your triceps, your chest, and your shoulders, because those are the 3 muscles you're going to train that day primarily, and also in your first exercise. So for example, you'll do some tricep push downs, maybe a few chest flies, and then just a few lateral raises to get your joints nice and oiled up and all the muscles nice and warm. Now this doesn't have to take long. You can do 2 sets of each muscle group, and you don't have to rest like 5 to 10 minutes between each set. Do some triceps, do a few lateral raises, do some chest flies with a light weight. It can literally take you 3 to 5 minutes. Once you're done with that, you can go to step 2, which I call the first exercise warm-up. So this is basically just where you're going to start with your first exercise, just with a lighter weight. So going back to our example, let's say you're starting off on the bench press. Instead of obviously going with your full working weight on your first set, you want to do a few sets with a lighter weight. The way I always structure this is first set, do 12 reps with what you think you'd be able to do for around 30 reps. Obviously, this doesn't have to be super exact. These are just rough numbers. So do 12 reps with something you'd be able to do for roughly 30 reps. Then your second set, you do 8 reps with something you think you'd be able to do for around 20 reps. And then for your last set, you do 3 to 4 reps with a weight that you think you'd be able to do for 10 reps. Once again, you don't have to take very long rest periods between these sets. This can also literally take you like 5 minutes. Now what you can even do if you're really short on time, I also do this, is you can start with your first exercise warm-up. So do your 12 reps with what you think you'd be able to do for 30 reps. And then you quickly do your individual muscles warm-up. So step 1, then you go and do some triceps, some shoulders, some chest. And then you can go to your next set of 8 reps with what you think you'd be able to do for 20 reps. And then you keep on going like that. You don't have to do the individual muscles warm-up first, and then you do step 2 or the first exercise warm-up secondly. You can mix that all together. The most important thing is you just don't want to get started with your working weight, because a lot of guys do that and you really set yourself up to be weak that session, and also you increase your chances of getting an injury. So now that you're done with step 1 and 2, whether you did them together or in order, doesn't really matter, you can actually start on your first working set. The third step is really for any exercise after your first working set. So going back to our example, you do the individual muscles warm-up, step 1, then you do your first exercise warm-up, and then you do your working set on bench press. Once you're done with bench press, you go to step 3, which is basically called a fuel set. This is my philosophy. This is actually a very common thing. So let's say after bench press, you go to incline chest presses with dumbbells. Instead of jumping straight into your working set, even though you're already warmed up, just do 1 fuel set, and this is how it works. A fuel set is basically where you go with, let's say, 60 to 80% of your normal working weight, and you just do a set of 4 to 6 reps with that weight. So if you usually use 50-pound dumbbells for your incline chest presses, just use 40-pound dumbbells and do like 4 to 6 reps. You shouldn't get super tired. So the point of this set is really just to let your body know that you're doing a new movement, because yes, your chest and your triceps and shoulders are warmed up from bench pressing, but your body is still used to that movement. Incline chest presses will train the same muscles primarily, but it's still a different movement, and just doing a quick fuel set will prepare your body before you go into your main working set. It's also just a great way to make sure that you don't overestimate how strong you are and then go with weights that are way too heavy for you. That's why it's called a fuel set. Sometimes what's going to happen is you're going to do your fuel set and then you're going to realize, oh damn, I'm not even going to go heavier than this because I thought that I'm stronger than I actually am. Also, once again, the fuel set doesn't have to take an extra 10 minutes. It's literally just grab the weights, do a few reps, make sure this feels good, make sure your body's ready for the movement, and then you can grab your main working weight. And that's basically the warm-up routine. It's super simple. In total, it maybe takes you an extra 10 minutes over your entire workout, and it's really worth doing. I can tell you guys, I used to start off my workouts doing almost no warm-up, and that is one of the stupidest things you can do. I get it. You get into the gym, you just want to get your workout over and done with, or you're just so eager to start working with your main weight. You don't want to stand there with like 10 pounders, warm up your shoulder joints. You just want to get started with the big boy weights, but you have to do a proper warm up if you want to maximize your results and also, of course, avoid injury. Now, for those of you ego lifters who are not too worried about injury, that was me a few years ago. If you don't warm up properly, you're also actually making yourself weaker. You will always be stronger if you did a proper warm up. So if decreasing your risk to get an injury doesn't motivate you to warm up properly, let that be motivation for you to warm up properly. I really hope this video helped. Go give it a try and let me know if it works for you. If you have other warm-up routines that really works well for you, feel free to drop them in the comments. Or if you have any questions, of course, I'll get back to your comments as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.